Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You are listening to Hot Cocoa, and today we are talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Before we begin, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, or two, or three, whatever you feel like doing. Let's get this thing popping. The show begins with Wendy and her husband Eddie talking about their sip and see for their daughter. I don't know how the perception goes because from Wendy's perception, Eddie's family is intimidated by hers, and that's the reason why they do not support him, and they didn't want her and him to get married. Maybe that's what happened, but it seems like you're putting your family above his, or you're being a little shady about it, which is okay because at the end of the day, they are not showing up for whatever reason. And I think that if there is a reason, then maybe they should work it out because of the kids. When you love your child, even though you do not love their spouse or maybe their family, it's not cool to cut them off. That's not cool. And now we at the therapist session with Michael and Ashley. One thing about the Caucasian people, when they go to therapy, they go in right away. He was like, my childhood and my father when I was young, we would be like, I'm fine. I don't have a problem. I don't even know why I'm here. Michael was like, when I was 5 years old, my father did this, he did that, and this might be the reason why I'm the way I am today. I swear that therapist didn't have to do anything. He sat there and clearly communicated what was his issues, his past behaviors, which might cause the way he acts now. And now Ashley is saying, he's never said this to me before, so we might be okay. Hey, they might be okay. Who knows? But, I think that she is well aware of the relationship she's in. She's not in denial about it. And she's looking out for her baby Dean and the next baby. And I commend her on that. And then we move on to Karen and her husband walking and talking about their relationship. And I get both sides, but I think in a marriage you need to compromise, and things happen. Your marriage will grow, the people in the marriage will grow. So while everybody's moving forward, you can't always move the same way. You have to work it out to where you're happy and I'm happy. And even though we might have to give up something, we'll give up 5% of our happiness as opposed to giving up 100% over here to make you 100% happy. We'll find a way where I'm at least 95% happy and you're at least 95% happy. And the 5% we lose is not that great. It's something we could give up to gain a good relationship. So, I don't know how far Karen and her husband will go beyond this. I'm not sure if Karen would give this up for him. I won't be surprised if she does. But at this point, it looks like they need her income. And he needs to roll with the punches. We will see if Karen has a few dollars left in her. Because to me, she is kind of over the pettiness between the girls. They want her to pick and choose one position. And sometimes it's just not that easy. You need to pick and choose what you feel is right. And I think that's what Karen is trying to do. Even though she feels Monique is wrong, she doesn't want to abandon Monique. She wants to work it out with Monique, go through the fire with her, and support Candace at the same time. Personally, I don't see nothing wrong with that. The only thing I see about this situation that might be wrong is the fact that Monique doesn't feel remorse. She doesn't feel like her actions were not because of somebody else. It's because your brain is in your mind. And at that point, you chose to react that way to somebody who was acting immature. You can never say it was somebody else's fault. You know, people are saying Giselle manipulated the whole situation. Maybe, but still, it's your brain. It's your mind, your options, your thoughts, your actions. So, being that she doesn't see that part of it says a lot about Monique. But hey, I'm not perfect. She's not perfect. But I know that if it was me, I would just be like, I messed up. Because I'll allow you to make me act like this, then I messed up. I must take accountability for that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Then we move along to Candace going to the court to explain her side of the police report and to tell them what she wants to happen as far as Monique and her consequences. Well, it has to happen. I mean, I feel like Candace is the type of person who needs to call the cops, who needs to go that way because she cannot physically fight. She can't. She has a little mouth on her, but you can tell Candace do not know how to fight. So that's her way of fighting. So maybe it. Me personally, I probably would have fought Monique back. So would I have called the cops? Probably not, because that would have been a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we would have been scrapping. So I probably wouldn't call the cops because I could fight you physically, even though I don't want to. But if you put your hands on me, it's going to go down. That's if I was on Candace's side. So, yeah. So she had to do it that way because that's the only way she can fight. Let's just be honest. She's not going to be like, every time I see you, it's going to be on sight. She's not that person. So she's going to the court. Do you blame her? I don't. It is what it is. Okay, and now we get into Robin and her hats. A lot of people was questioning her style as far as showing up with the hat. She has her own hat line. And I don't blame her. I would show up in every scene with a hat on. We would have been at a Christian, I would have had a hat on. We would have been at church, I would have had a hat on. Going to the movies with a hat. It would have been everywhere, so I don't blame her for wearing her hats. Looks like she getting a lot of orders, which is great. So, kudos to Robin. And beyond of everybody's, opinion about Robin and how she's just Giselle's friend, I actually see her personality being as like a homegirl. Like, you don't have to get dressed up all the time with Robin. You can be regular and have a good time, have a laugh, joke around. Now, do I see Giselle the same way? Not so much, but I could see being Robin's friend. And if loyalty is a bad thing, then yeah, I don't get that part. I like loyal people. So with me, I could see her as being a homegirl. And then we go on to Candace meeting her friend from college. And I guess she's just basically trying to plead her case. And I'm going to need Candace to take some accountability for being immature, for being petty, for doing too much. Like, does any of those things make it okay for Monique to mollywop her? Not at all. But I think she needs to stop crying about it and start trying to see a lesson within it. Like, what did I do? what can I do better next time so that this won't happen to me? Not to say that she could get on anybody's nerve and at any point in time that person could go crazy, even with her doing less than that. But you need to start building your life as to learning the lessons that we are taught throughout these situations and not staying in the hurt of it. Get up, move on, learn from it, leave the hurt. Take your accountability, forgive yourself, move on. And that's all I gotta say about this, because she cries in every scene. She crying in the car, she crying at the table. Every moment Candace pull out her tissue and she's crying. I don't see anything wrong with that either, because she could just be that sensitive. But a little bit of it looked like she wanted to be the victim. Like, girl, we get it. You got Molly whopped on camera. Embarrassing. Monique wasn't remorseful. That's hurtful when it's your friend. But it's a time where you have to get up, stop crying about it, and move forward. Whatever forward look like, that's the way you gotta move. Keep it moving. So the next scene is Wendy and her husband Eddie talking about the sip and see. They at the location where they want to have the event, and it came up again about Eddie's family. And he felt some type of way because his son is maybe asking questions about that side of his family. So now it makes him feel some type of way that he can't give his son the relationship he deserves to have with his family. So now he's saying maybe I should just invite them and see, if they're going to come or not. And he sent them a nice text message saying, you guys are invited to the sip and see. And now we're just keeping our fingers crossed to see if they show. And then we move on to Ashley and her family with her uncle, which is her mother's brother. And she did the most to get out the car, to put Dean in the car seat, from the car seat to the stroller, just to go a couple of feet, to take the stroller in the house and have the uncle pick up Dean. And he was basically in their arms the whole time. So I said she could have just brought him in a little carrier and called it a day. But when you spend that type of money on them car seats and those strollers, I guess you want to use them and show them off. So I get it. But it was a lot. But the thing about Ashley's uncle is I'm seeing that he's overprotective of her. So when the news came out about Michael, naturally he's a little upset and he want to get down to the bottom of it to make sure that Michael is, doing what he has to do for Ashley and baby Dean. And, as a man should be, very overprotective, checking in the family and seeing what's going on. Did her mother come through with a patch on her eye? Talking about things are oozing out. I don't know. I'm glad she had the patch on her eye, because I don't want to see her. I don't want to see anything oozing. I don't want to see it. A good thing about Ashley, is that she pops that boob out wherever she's at. Just pull it out and let the baby get his milk. She don't care who's watching, who's in the room. If it's her uncle sitting right there, boob out. Eat, Dean, eat. So I guess I like that. It's 2020 of Ashley, She's not trying to hide it. She don't even cover it up with a cloth. She pull it out, and he drinks his milk. She put it away. I guess. It is what it is. So now we at the sip and see, and surprisingly, Robin is first to arrive. She is there before everybody. She is known to be late for every event. Sometimes she missed the event and get there at the end. And this particular time, Robin is first. So at this point, the news is out about Candace and Monique. And everybody is shocked that Candace actually filed charges against Monique. I'm still not shocked. That's how non-physical fighters fight. And you have to fight the best way for you. Because if you know you can't get out in them streets and fist fight, then you know you have to do it another way. It is what it is. So now the party is starting to pick up and the guests are coming. So Robin is feeling a little bit more, I guess, at ease because she's been here for a minute. I've been in a situation where I'm sitting here not knowing nobody and the host is not there. You're like, what to do? Get you something to drink and something to nibble on. You'll be fine. The party itself seemed really nice and something I think that I would love to be a part of. I've never been to a Nigerian party, even though I'm from New York and we got everybody here. I've never been to a Nigerian party where they did all of this for anything in particular. So it was good to see and to live through via the television. You know, they did a good job. And then, of course, when all the girls get there, they bring up the lawsuit. Candace is saying what she felt she needed to do and how she needed to move forward. And, you know, they was all like, maybe you went too far, but we get it. And Ashley was like, you know, I have a lot to say, but I wasn't there. And I think the way they ended that conversation, because at one point it was getting heated and they were starting to throw the little mud towards each other about marriages and your friends are paying you and this, that, and the other. And then, you know, Chris told Candace in her ear, like, you know, calm down. You ain't got to say that much. You ain't got to do that much. And I think it kind of brought her back to maybe that's the reason why I was in the other situation. So let me change my tone and tell her that, you know, basically, I understand that's your friend. And even though you was not there, you're going to be loyal to your friend. I get it. And Ashley came down and said, I don't condone her being physical. But yes, that's my friend. And that's how the conversation ended. They were still cool and they were still able to lead a table and not be so mad with each other. And I think that if this fight taught us anything or taught them anything, is that you can communicate. You don't have to hit below the belt all the time when you want to make a sting. You can actually use words and talk things out. And sometimes it also depends on how you say those words and how you do those things. So that was pretty good. I like the way the conversation ended. So the show ended off with Wendy and Eddie talking about his people not showing up at all. And how, you know, they were still blessed beyond measures because they had people who supported them and loved them, even though his people didn't come. I feel so bad for him. I don't understand how a mother can turn their back on a child based on tradition and culture, because at the end of the day, that's all you have is your family. You know, you might not always agree to everything, but you move on and you stay together and you stay close. The day is going to come when you lose somebody, then you're going to be like, why did we waste all this time being so negative or fighting with one another? It's not worth it. But we'll see what happens next week. As we all see, Monique didn't even have anything to do with this episode. She didn't even show up. So I don't know where we're going from here. Personally, I don't want to have Monique not a part of the show, but she does need consequences. So if that's a suspension or whatever, then give it to her. But she should still be a cast member, or at least a friend to the show for next season, then come back as a full cast. The same they did to Portia. They made her a friend for a season, and then she came back the next season. It's consequences. You choose to do something, you get consequences, and that's the end of it. But that's the end of this episode. We'll be back next week because I like to watch television. No, don't do that. Don't judge me because I'm not judging you. Peace out, son.